Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. There are many different reactions that people have when they find out they're being cheated on. When today's OP found out, he decided he would blow up everything. This one's from user Jacques Lecoq. Almost lost my resolve. I got home late Sunday. It's a 1,400-mile drive. This was good. I really didn't want to see or talk to her. I was tired, went to my chair and slept. I haven't slept well in 2 months. I've lost 15 pounds. I look and feel like crap. But it was the first 8 hours I had gotten in a while. Monday, my wife tried to initiate some intimacy. I just cannot get it up for this woman. My Johnson is up bright and early before me every morning, so this is nothing physical with me. It's just that for once, my D is in total agreement with my mind and heart. This upset her and we got into a pretty heated argument. I told her maybe it was something wrong with me. I'm 50 years old. This crap happens. She started insinuating that I'm cheating on her. She said that I'm not being a good husband. I haven't effed her in over 2 months. I haven't told her I loved her in over 2 months. Clearly, I'm doing something behind her back. I mean, she tried to gaslight the crap out of me. Yeah, I was doing something behind her back. I was piecing everything together. D-Day for me was September 25. I work in collision repair. Specifically, I work on the vehicles that are considered train wrecks. September 25, I wound up cutting my leg open on a truck I was working on. That was a trip to the emergency room. I got 5 stitches inside my leg and 34 stitches on the outside. It was pretty bad. I got put on some hefty painkillers and there was no way I was going to drive. So I called my wife. No answer. Called 5 minutes later. No answer. Called again. No answer. Texted her. Babe, pick up. I need you. Call me. Called her again. No answer. More texts. Nothing. About an hour and a half of this. So I got an Uber to take me home. We turn onto my street, come in view of my house, and she is standing in the doorway completely sucking face with the GM of where she works. I told the driver to stop. This wasn't a peck, folks. They were making out. She was supposed to be at work. I pulled out my phone, took a couple of pictures, and told the driver to keep driving. I had him take me back to work. I sat there in the break room for 4 hours, head down on the table, numb, effing heartbroken. When the painkillers were off, I drove home. In pain from my leg and from everything going through my head, she wasn't home when I got there. She came home a couple hours later. She acted all concerned. Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. I don't know. I asked how her day was and she made up some BS about work that day. I know it was BS. A week later, I learned for the first time that she hasn't worked a Friday in 3 years. I never really used Reddit much. It was always there, but I had no real interest in it until then. I was looking for crap on dealing with cheaters and this sub showed up along with YouTube videos, so I read stuff there, just trying to find out what the hell I should be doing right now. I was reading about all the red flags and saying, yep. Well, that fits her to a T. Always on the phone, always texting. For some effing reason, can't answer my calls or texts. She had no idea until last Monday that I had sat in the emergency room trying to call her, texting her. In 2 whole effing months, she had not looked at our chat log at all. She was yelling at me that I need to be a better husband, that I'm not doing enough for her. I got so effing mad, I grabbed my phone, opened the chat log and shoved it in her face, showed her those unanswered texts. I rarely raise my voice, but I yelled at her that the one time I needed her to be there for me, I got ghosted. She pulled out her phone and looked. Then she left the house for a couple of hours. When she came back, she apologized and then lied right to my effing face. Oh, she had a hard day at work that day. Didn't notice because she was too busy. The truth is, she didn't know about the calls and texts because she was too busy effing her boss in my house to answer her phone. In the time between that day and now, I've snooped her phone, her laptop, her iPad, learned I could look at all her crap from one of her old phones. I've installed cameras in the house. I have been watching her cheat on me in real time for 2 months. Let me tell you something. I've always thought Apple products are for idiots. They really are. Cheaters should probably start using Android or something because Apple syncs across everything. I've learned she doesn't just dislike my son. She effing hates that kid. Probably because him being at my house in the summer was cramping her style. I've learned this affair has been going on for years. I've learned it's not just her boss. One of the men she has been effing has been someone I have worked with and considered a friend for over 14 years. She works with his wife. His wife has been helping her hide the affair with her boss. They effing introduced me to her. They watched me propose to her. They were at the wedding. They let me marry this woman, knowing she was cheating on me. I know of 4 men. 2 I know, 2 I don't know. They've effed in my bed, on my couch, on my kitchen table where I eat, in my shower. These a-holes have used my damn soap to wash their effing balls. I went up to my property in where I hunt deer to get away for 1 weekend. I invited her. I always ask her to come whenever I go anywhere. She always declines. When I got back, I just watched this parade of men go through my house and F my wife. She didn't even shower and clean herself off between 2 of them. What an effing pig. Yeah, there's a camera in the bathroom too. Same thing when I went to Chicago for Thanksgiving. She spent the whole weekend effing other men in my home, in my bed. For 2 months I have kept this to myself until I told my ex-girlfriend what is going on. I'm wearing this calm mask, but I am inches from Hulk smash mode. I almost confronted her about her cheating, but I just ate the lies she told me. I haven't told her because I've needed to square away my financials, have life insurance policies changed my will, protect my retirement, and so on. I want to surprise her on our anniversary. It's fitting. It's December 7th. Maybe I'm a glutton for punishment, but I want to humiliate her. I'll suffer the slights, the disparaging remarks about me she makes to these douchebags. I plan on making it worth it. I want her to feel as thoroughly effed as I did at 22 years old. I effing apologized for the argument. I told her I would take an appointment with a doctor for my erectile dysfunction. And then I read her texts to her boss calling me a limpty and she can't wait for Friday. This is not the woman I fell in love with 7 years ago. I'd like to say she's pure evil, but I'm thinking she's got severe mental health problems. Certainly she's a sociopath. Whatever, I did not sign up for this. It was very hard for me to ask her to marry me. Since my first divorce, I had a hard time believing that anything nice a woman said to me was what she really meant. I've chased off 2 fantastic women in my life because I was still effed in the head from my first wife. More so, what I went through after the divorce than, oh, she didn't really love me. I got effed in my first divorce. I walked away from it with $43 in my pocket. No home, no car, no means to do my job, no support from my family, and had to couch surf for the next 3 years because everything I made went to alimony and paying off our debt. 22 years old and my life effed before it really even started. I spent my 24th birthday on my friend's couch, drunk, with a gun in my mouth, bawling like a baby because I didn't have the stones to do it. I saw no light at the end of the tunnel. Well, since that day, I have kept $43 in my wallet to remind me of the lowest I have ever been. I'm not saying that's where I am now, but I feel like I did after that. Yeah, I'm wiser and covered my butt this time, but you know, the first time, I caught them in the act. Had to do it the old-fashioned way, come home early for a trip. But it was over. The extent of the gaslighting was her saying it was not what it seems and then screaming at me to stop as I beat the crap out of my brother and his friends. Don't do this, this hurt me in the divorce big time. But it was over. There was no BS. Nothing could be denied. All the therapy I have gone through, it's all gone. This time around, it's this slow process of deceit, holding everything in, just getting lied to all the time. Even when she doesn't need to lie, she lies. I feel that every time I blink, she F's some other guy. I no longer love this woman. Let's be clear, there will be no working this out. I've checked out. My anniversary is a day that will live in infamy. Pearl Harbor Day. I'm going to make sure she remembers it. But the seconds seem like hours. I'm worn out. I have a constant headache. All the therapy I have gone through, it's all gone. I plan to drop the bomb on everybody involved. I imagine boss's wife will probably go there and make a scene after my wife is served. As for my friend's wife, well, she works with my wife. They've been friends for 8 years. I have been friends with her for 14. She knows about my wife's cheating, and I want to have a conversation with her about friendship and loyalty before I drop the bomb. She's going to be the only one of our mutual friends I will talk to, as I expect some of them are going to try to mediate in some way, and I don't feel like letting the witch use a middleman. That's what my lawyer is for. After that, I will be no contact with the witch and all the mutuals. I will talk to her folks when the dust settles a bit. They're good people. I think I will owe them that. Edit. Went out to dinner with her tonight. It was actually kind of pleasant. She apologized for leaving me hanging in the ER. Said she understood. I've been in pain. Medicated. Depressed because of the bug effing over my visitation with my son, etc. She wasn't making it easy on me. I think she might be feeling guilty? Not sure. Probably not. Is this gaslighting? But I am realizing that she doesn't know that I know, like, at all. The BS she throws at me is almost rolling off me right now. Today, I took a major step towards ending all of this. I left my job. I don't have to spend another 12-hour day with one of her douchebags. I feel a little giddy and I'm having a moment of clarity. I feel like I can breathe right now. You folks have no idea what you have done for me. I get to vent what I've been bottling up of my chest. One guy sent me a PM and said he went through something similar for 8 months. 8 effing months. I'm here twitching at 2. A woman told me she went through over a year before she could make a move. A year! Some of you have asked why I am doing this to myself when I have the upper hand. It's because I want to have a hammer in my hand. My marriage didn't go the way I wanted it to, but I'll sure as hell end it on my terms. I'm gonna go play some Minecraft with my kid now. By the way, gaming is a great way to spend some time with your kids that you are separated from. Talk to you in a few days. Edit 2. I'm having a little fun today. Got up normal time, had some coffee, then took a really long shower. Felt good. Way better than those 10-minute gotta run showers. I used all the hot water, just to make sure I threw a load of towels in the washer. Woke her up and told her she was running late for work. She asked why I was there. Told her I took the day off and was gonna hang around all day. Lol, she didn't look pleased. She didn't sound too pleased either when she found out about the hot water. Made her breakfast. Gave her a peck on the cheek as she was leaving to pretend to go to work. Watched some TV and then walked around making mental notes of her stuff I'm going to be clearing out. Sometime around 10 a.m., she texted her boss saying not to come over for lunch because my husband took the day off. Well, at least I can now confirm that he knows she's married, and the "I didn't know" excuse can be taken off the table. He texted back, "Oh crap, abort, abort!" And I'm going to admit, that made me chuckle. At lunchtime, I called her, asked how work was going. She fed me some BS. Then I told her I was gonna go to the store. Need anything? Ha! She asked when I'd be back home. I said I didn't know, in a while. Asked her if she wanted me to come pick her up for lunch, and I got a big old no, lol. I have no idea what the F she has been doing so far today, but she sounds really agitated. Think I'll go buy some wine and stuff that'll look like I'm planning a romantic dinner. Wow, it sounds like OP has gone through a lot. Before we move on to the update where he serves her, let me fill in some gaps that OP has answered in some of the comments that weren't on any of the posts. From what I gather, this is OP's 4th relationship, 2nd marriage. His first marriage ended at 22 with his wife cheating on him with his brother and a friend of him. We know that from this post, right? Then came 2 relationships with 2 women that apparently were very good women. He had a son with one of them, but never married her because he just wasn't ready and she didn't want to wait any longer and ended up breaking up, and now she is married to some other guy who is a pretty nice guy according to OP. His son lives with her. And that takes us to this relationship. Also, there is one more post from OP that you can go check out by looking at the links that I leave in the description, where he vents about having to be stuck with this lying woman in his house and that all he wants to do is just serve her the papers and be over with this, but he wants to wait a little bit longer until he has everything he needs to throw the hammer down. He also tells us that he is going to go spend Thanksgiving with his son after having a conversation with his ex-girlfriend and her saying how bad he looks, and he tells her everything, like we know from the beginning of this post. So now, let's move on to the update where he drops the hammer. I had her served yesterday. For those asking, I wasn't in a good state of mind to write about it yesterday. Still not really, but I will get it off my chest. I woke up and left the house, got myself some breakfast while waiting for her to leave for work, rented a truck, went back home and changed the locks. My friend and her husband came over, he brought a friend and we packed up her things. We loaded up our bedroom furniture that I got her as a wedding gift, my couch, my dining table, just all the furniture she defiled. Took it to storage, put all her clothes in garbage bags, was going to throw her dirty clothes in with the clean, but my friend wouldn't let me. We got done after 11 a.m. At around lunchtime, I bought flowers and chocolates and went to her work. I went in, gave her the flowers and candy, gave her a big hug and a kiss. She was all smiles and blushes. Her co-workers were doing the "Aw, that's so sweet" thing. I told her that I would love to take her out to lunch, but I had to go get a checkup on my leg, but to not make plans for the night because I wanted to give her a night she would remember. I gave her a goodbye kiss and started walking out. At this point, I'm going to start calling her GM effing Tom or FT. As I was leaving, I saw her boss and gave him a big smile and said, "Hey effing Tom, how are ya?" Gave him a wave and left. Then I went and got some lunch. At 2 p.m., a deputy would be walking into my wife's work to serve her. At 2 p.m., I was standing in front of effing Tom's house. I texted him a picture I took on the day I caught them. I took a selfie in front of his house and sent that too. I knocked on the door and Mrs. effing Tom answered. She knows me a little bit from parties and things my wife's work had. I told her that my wife and her husband were having an affair. She didn't believe me. I showed her that first picture I took, and I showed her a selfie they took while my wife was giving him head on my couch. And she effing slapped me. I just stood there and she started crying. I gave her a thumb drive with everything pertaining to my wife and her husband that I had. I told her my wife was cheating on me with multiple men. Get checked for STDs. I gave her my lawyer's card and my number. Then she asked why I was doing this to her, and to be honest, why did I do that? I hurt her pretty bad. I feel like the biggest piece of crap for doing that. I told her that she had a right to know and felt like an a-hole for giving her that answer. As I was leaving, that's when my phone started blowing up. Didn't answer any calls or texts. I just went home. When I got home, I changed my Facebook status to divorced. I started reading the texts from my wife. "What the F is this? What are you doing?" All that crap. I messaged her back and told her she could come to the house at 7 p.m. and not 1 minute before to get her clothes. Apparently, effing Tom didn't tell her what I did right away, as I imagine he had his own problems at the moment. But my wife sent me a text a little later, mother effering me up and down for telling Mrs. effing Tom, so he did tell her. My friend that covered up for my wife, gonna call her Amber, started calling me. So I answered. I answered with, "How long have you known that my wife and effing Tom were having an affair? Please don't lie to me." And she told me what I suspected. The whole time. Since before my wife and I had met. The whole effing time. All this time, I was the side piece. My whole marriage is a sick effing joke. Let me tell you, that's a bitter pill to swallow. I asked her why she didn't tell me. She said it's because they thought I would go apecrap, get violent and such. I told her that she knew me better than that. She said she kept it secret because she was her friend. What about me? I wasn't? I asked her if I knew her husband was cheating, wouldn't she want me to tell her? As a friend, wouldn't I be obligated to let her know something she should know? She said yes. So I hung up and sent her pictures my wife had taken of her and her husband and texted her back with my lawyer's number and said that my lawyer has everything I know. Then I told her never to contact me again. At about 4 p.m., my wife showed up at the house and found out about the locks. She started banging on the door and yelling. I didn't answer. She tried calling again. I turned my ringer off. Then she broke a window and left. At close to 7 p.m., 2 deputies parked out front. One is one of the people that helped me move stuff earlier. His wife showed up, also my friend. 7 p.m. rolls around and my wife showed up. She looked pretty subdued. Pretty sure her and Amber had gotten into it by then. I gave her her clothes, the storage key and address, my lawyer's card, told her that all contact with me will be through her. My wife started with the "I love you" crap. We can work this out. She's sorry. She loves me. A mistake. She doesn't love them. It didn't mean anything. I just pointed at my lawyer's card. She said that it's her house too and I can't kick her out. I told her it's my home and that she literally effed herself out of it. This is when she got really loud. All the "I love yous" turned into "F yous" and "I hate yous." The deputies turned on their lights and neighbors had come out to gawk at the train wreck. I remained fairly calm and had my hands at my side through this. She kept screaming at me. I think she might have been drinking. She started crying that she had nowhere to go, and when I told her that I don't care, well, I learned something new about my wife. She can throw a right hook. Gave me a fat lip and a bloody nose. I didn't move. I just stood there and let her do it. She tried scratching my face. The deputies restrained her. I declined pressing charges, told them to just make her leave. They filed an incident report so that I could get a TRO, temporary restraining order. Actually, I'm glad she did that. When she left, I went back in, and while I was cleaning myself up, all that crap I should have been feeling for the last 2 months started to hit me. I'm pretty exhausted right now. I thought I would feel better after all of this got out. I don't. I feel effing awful. I'm not someone prone to crying, but I've been doing a lot of that since last night. There's almost 600 unanswered texts and calls on my phone and growing. I'm going no contact with our mutual friends. I don't want any of them trying to mediate things. I'll sort them out some other time. I didn't call my son last night. I've always called him every night. I'll tell him tonight. He'll probably not be upset by the news. He wasn't fond of her. Well, OP, you did it. You dropped the hammer on her exactly the way you planned, and you blew up all of her relationships, particularly the ones that made you feel like crap, like her boss and that friend of yours, Amber. Sorry, but she was in the game and she got played. One small piece of information I'd like to add is that OP said he didn't want to press charges because he's already going to have to see a lot of his wife or his ex-wife through the divorce proceedings, and he doesn't want to have to see her more through also the assault charges and all that stuff. That's how he's feeling right now. Maybe at some point in the short-term future, he feels like, he wants to do a little bit more damage and will press charges. We don't know. In the meantime, I personally hope that OP can deal with his feelings properly. Maybe some therapy will help. But he has been bottling this up for so long that it's all come rushing out right now, so this might be a very emotional time for OP. And I've got to say that personally, I find him admirable. He kept it together for so long, even though it was affecting him very clearly, but he was able to get through what he wanted to do and not get effed on this divorce like he did on his first. So OP, I wish you the best. I wish your divorce proceedings go smoothly and that you don't have to spend too much time looking at your ex-wife. Also, that now that you're single and you don't have a job where you live, maybe you want to move closer to your son to spend more time with him. But of course, that's up to you. In the meantime, all the best and take care. And so we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope you guys liked it. If you did, go ahead and click like. Of course, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Also, here are more videos from my channel that you might enjoy. And having said all that, I will see you guys on the next video.